It's 100% possible to use AI and automation in your content creation process without losing your voice or your client's voice in the process. Let's talk about it. Last week, we took the outline from this video and we created content for the rest of the week. We were also able to build an email newsletter outline for all of our subscribers. Here's how our process used to look. We'd outline our video, we'd film and edit it, we'd get it approved. Once it's approved, we'd upload it to YouTube. And while it's uploading, we'd create the metadata. Once that was done, we'd schedule it. And then we'd go back through the footage and find shorts that we could use for other social media platforms. As you can imagine, doing this for all of our clients, by the time we got to our videos, we kind of stopped feeling like doing it. So we kind of slacked on doing our own content. And I don't know how you feel about content, but if you're not putting out content, you pretty much don't exist. So that's how this whole, let's figure out a way to create automation to where it made our lives simpler to where we could actually still get good quality content of our own out and also deliver our clients' content even faster and more efficiently. If you don't want to spend a ton of time creating content, I'm going to share our process and what we do to make it less time consuming. First, you need to decide what you're okay having automated. Start there. And even I recommend mapping it out, the steps you want to take. For our automation, what we wanted to happen is once the video is approved, we wanted metadata to be created. Then we wanted our newsletter outlines to be built. And we also wanted to find possible shorts. Next, you want to decide what tools you want to use. For us, we use Notion to pretty much manage everything. We use Make for our automations. We use Frame.io for client reviews or internal video reviews. We also use Slack for communications and notifications. And we use GitHub and Railway for all the nerdy under the hood stuff. And another tool we use is ChatGPT. Here's how we set up our automation. Once we finish editing a video, we upload it to Frame.io for review, whether that's a client review or just internal review. That's where it happens. Once it's approved, we get a Slack notification. And the magic happens when we click the Create Metadata button. When we click that button, it triggers our metadata workflow. And what happens is AI takes that video, transcribes it for future tasks. And remember, this is not AI coming up with stuff. It is coming up with stuff, but it's coming up with stuff from an outline we already created, which is cool. So everything it comes up with is going to be based off of the outline that we set up. I think I wanted to make sure I said that because a lot of people, when they see that we use ChatGPT, they think that ChatGPT is doing all this work for you, which it is. It can't come up with something from nothing. So I feel like when we talk to people about it, a lot of them are worried like, oh, well, it's going to be doing a job that we're supposed to be doing. It's like, it can't do anything without human input. So I don't know if that's something that we're going to keep in this part of the video, but I want to make sure I said it because I think that was my hesitation on using it for a while was, man, I don't want people thinking that ChatGPT is doing all this creative stuff. It can't do anything if you don't input the right thing. From the transcript, it creates the metadata. It creates all the social content posts, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. It creates all that stuff. And then it also builds out our email newsletter outline. And then we're still working on this feature, but it finds the best shorts based on the transcripts. If you've used any of those other services, it's basically doing that same thing. And we've tried using those services and we run into the same thing. It's like, it doesn't always know what is what. For all this stuff that's creating the metadata and all this, we've set up prompts to make sure that we're not losing our voice or our client's voice. Everything matches kind of our brand. We did a whole video on AI Yuck. The big takeaway from that video is our AI Yuck list. We've created a whole list of phrases and words that we don't want AI to use. You know these words if you use AI at all. You've seen embark on a journey, delve into. So we basically have a whole list where we have ChatGPT link out to it to where it can see, hey, don't use any of these words. One of our prompts, let me read one of them and I'm going to read it off the screen because I don't have it memorized, but here's what it says. And this is for when we create YouTube metadata. You can bite it if you want to. It says, you are an expert marketer and storyteller. Please analyze the following transcripts and come up with a perfect YouTube description that we can add when we upload this video. We want to also leave viewers with valuable takeaways. Break up the description into easy sections to read. Analyze this URL, and it's a URL to that Yuck list that we have created, and ensure that no variations of the words or phrases on the list are used in your response. Keep the description as concise as possible. After the main description, please include a list of time codes from important sections of the video for viewers to use as chapter markers. Here's a transcript we want you to base a description on. And in Make, we have where it just passes that data through. And then after that, it says, please format the response in plain text only without any special characters or markdown. We have that last part in there because a lot of times it would add emojis and would overly add emojis or try to bold things that shouldn't be bolded. So that's what we have. And the big thing with all this is you have to review everything. As good as these prompts may be, ChatGPT is still not human. So before we publish anything, we always review it. The results all get sent back to Notion, where we have a day where we review all the content that's going out and before we approve it. And then we publish the content. Some of our content publishing is automated, but we don't have that part of the automation perfected yet. Once we feel a little bit better about it, we may do an update to this video. But until then, like, we're tweaking stuff. So that's the thing you may see on our social medias. We usually try to test stuff on our personal accounts. So you may see stuff that may get posted twice, or that it is what it is. But if you're interested in that stuff, you can for sure follow us. We repeat this process every single time. And honestly, it gets better every time we go through the process, because we find little things like, oh, we keep on changing this. Let's make sure we fix that to change it. Or maybe let's try to automate a little bit more. So when you start adding automation and using ChatGPT, just review it and try to just improve a little bit at a time or add more at a time. For us, we use AI automation like a tool. Instead of a hammer, we're using a nail gun. There's nothing wrong with using a hammer and nails, but if you're like us and you value saving time and not compromising on quality, then AI may be the move. If you're an entrepreneur and love creative guidance, let us know by hitting the subscribe button. I don't know why I do this every time we start shooting. Okay, and there's nothing on my shirt, right? That's good. Everything's good.